Imagine being told your worth is tied to your virginity.
Virginity's a construct.
I know, but welcome to growing up in purity culture.
It's time for Growing Up in Purity Culture.
Welcome to Growing Up in Purity Culture, the show where we celebrate the beauty of abstinence, the power of modesty, and the Holy Spirit keeping us safe. What the f***? I'm your host, Rod Getlow. That's the dumbest name I've heard in my life. Let's get to the first question, okay? Which of the following is the ideal way to show how sexually pure you are? Is it A, attending a purity ball, B, dressing modestly, C, wearing a purity ring or promise ring, or D, virginity testing? Oh, that's a fun one, isn't it? This is literally insane.
So I was in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, more commonly known as LDS or Mormon. By the way, they hate being called Mormon now, despite spending millions upon millions of dollars like 12 years ago on their I'm a Mormon advertising campaign. Let's go to the tape.
My name is Brandon Flowers. I'm a father, a husband, and I'm a Mormon.
In the church, and honestly in a lot of religions, sex before marriage is a big 100% no. I was taught that my value as a person was directly linked to my perceived sexual innocence. Super fun.
Fuck this place.
Purity culture promotes this idea that sex before marriage is sinful, damaging to your spirit and body, and just to take it up a notch, morally wrong. This can lead to feelings of shame and guilt, and in a lot of cases, trauma. Studies have even shown that this kind of messaging can negatively impact mental health and sexual wellness. One of my biggest issues with purity culture is the way that it objectifies people who identify as women. It teaches that a woman's worth is based in large part on her sexual purity, which can lead to body image issues and mental health issues and just so much bad stuff. Have you heard the infamous gum metaphor? If you haven't, let me help you out. And I'm so sorry in advance. It goes something like this. Having sex before marriage is like chewing gum, and then offering that piece of chewed gum to your future spouse. Why would they want an already chewed piece of gum? I'm sorry, but what the actual fuck?
No! God, please, no! No!
Unlearning all these harmful beliefs has been its own journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It felt like lifting a giant rock off my chest that I didn't even know was there in the first place.
There you go!
Oh yeah.
Some other fond memories that come to mind, the Sunday school refrain that I have talked about, I think once before. Basically, it was a coverall answer that kids would use when they didn't know the real answer, but they thought that this had the church's core values in all parts of it. So it was just safe to say, read the scriptures, fast and pray, go to church, and don't be gay. What? Another thing they would have when you got to a certain age, 16, because that's when you can date. But not alone, you have to date in group dates. How do you think they came up with the idea for soaking? They're like, we got a group of people, we got beds, let's bounce. I'm not gonna talk about soaking. Well, I guess I did. Oops. So they would have these dances when you're 16. And the idea was to mingle and to dance with people of the opposite sex, because that's the only right way to do it. You have to be with the opposite gender, because marriage is cool. I participated in purity culture for way too long, and now I know better.
I'm dead.
One of my first steps in unlearning the lessons of purity culture was educating myself about sexual health and wellness outside of what the church taught me. Understanding that sex is a natural and healthy part of life was kind of a huge deal, and to be honest, one that I'm still working through. One of the easiest ways I started was I read a lot. I mean, a lot. Like a lot. Another crucial step was embracing body positivity. Learning to love and accept my body, flaws and all, has been liberating. When I get it right, it's about feeling comfortable in your own skin. It's also still very much a constant work in progress. There are good days and there are bad days. Oh, trust me, there are bad days. But unlearning what society has taught me has been incredibly freeing, to say the least. Another thing to note, the power of community. Connecting with others who have gone through similar experiences has been invaluable. For some reason, I seem to keep finding more and more ex-Mormons, and it's like,
well, howdy there. It appears that what we have here is a mutual sensing of each other's trauma. Birds of a feather and all that.
And also, like this, sharing stories, supporting each other, and knowing that you're not alone is kind of like what this is all about, right? Before I go, I want to talk about a few words and phrases that I think are more harmful than helpful. Body count. The term body count reduces individual people to just a number, and it objectifies them and it devalues their personal experiences and emotions. Also, discussing the number of sexual partners can lead to judgment and shame, whether that number is seen as too high or too low. People also have the right to privacy regarding their sexual history. Pressuring someone to disclose how many people they've had sexual interactions with can be invasive, disrespectful, create more shame and more stigma. And yes, peer pressure is still pressure. It's in the name. The number of sexual partners does not provide any meaningful information about a person's sexual health, their preferences, or their values. And there are literal double standards based on gender, where people who identify as males are praised for having multiple partners, while people who identify as women are shamed for the exact same behavior. Also on the list, virginity. The concept of virginity often carries moral and religious connotations, implying that sexual activity is inherently good or bad. And yeah, that leads to shame and stigma. Traditional definitions of virginity often focus on heterosexual penetrative sex, excluding other forms of sexual activity and non-heterosexual experiences. Also, historically, the concept of virginity has been used to control and to judge people who identify as women's sexual behavior more than people who identify as man, which just perpetuates gender inequality. And also, I can't believe I have to say this is true, it's just not medically accurate. Let's also agree to stop saying things like friends with benefits. This can absolutely trivialize the emotional and relational aspects of sexual activity. Lastly, don't worry, we're done. Almost. Walk of shame. This implies judgment about someone's sexual activity. Stop. If you are just starting navigating the deconstruction process around purity culture, you recently deconstructed, or it's been multiple decades since you did, I want to leave you with one last thought that I cannot emphasize enough, I mean with every ounce of my soul. Regardless of the level of your sexual activity, you are worthy. You are valuable. You deserve to live a life free of shame and guilt, and to be happy.
Fuck the whole concept of virginity. Sex doesn't make anyone less pure. Virginity is a social construct that stinks worse than manure. Virginity contributes to slut shaming. Sex can be fun, so please stop framing sex in a negative light. Policing sexuality ain't right. If you have sex, you don't